everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talking Tongue. This episode is gonna be different. This is the first episode that we've done, or that I've done, that isn't live. Oh my god, Tongue, this is the Facebook live stream show. How could you do this to your audience? What are the people at Facebook gonna do? They're expecting this episode. Well, I'm sorry, folks. I mean, at least I'm releasing an episode. I felt so guilty. I was like, oh my god, I've never missed a PodCavern date ever. Not for Ranked, not for Improv Punch-Up, not for anything. And it almost broke my heart when I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this Talking Tongue thing. This is going to drive me nuts. But I'm doing this instead. This is going to be, again, a slightly different show. It's not going to be live. I really don't have much planned for this episode. I'm going to kind of go through things that I would have talked about and kind of struggle talking about it because let me start over. So June, crazy month for me. I don't want to brag. I've been talking about this a lot on social media and like wherever on other podcasts, but I just got engaged with Laura. So thank you. Hold your applause. Thank you. We went to BC. It was very romantic. I climbed a mountain. She was there. We were sweaty. We were only supposed to climb for 20 minutes before I did the proposal. So many people were there. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it in front of all these people. Let's climb a little higher. And guess what? We climbed for another probably 2.5 hours until we found, like, we basically climbed to the top, and then it was great. So because we went on this 10-day amazing, romantic, very expensive trip to Vancouver, I just did not see any of the movies that I planned to see. So I am extremely underprepared for Talking Tongue this month, but like I said, the show must go on. I felt so guilty that I wasn't gonna do a show, and you know what? I'm gonna do it. So here I am in front of my computer, like I'm about to go and stream to all the Facebook people, but I'm not. It's going to be a hidden show. I'm just going to release it to the podcast feed and for all you to enjoy. So let's just get down to business here with episode, I think, 15 of Talking Tongue, which is incredible. 15 months of Talking Tongue. See, I can't miss one. That would be terrible. I mean, like, you go 14 months strong and, like, you can't find, like, one day out of the month to record a Talking Tongue. Get out of here, Tongue. That's what I have to say to that. All right, so I guess let's start with something recent. I just saw Rocket Man the other day, and I won't go into too much details because I don't have anything pulled up, but Rocket Man, the kind of flashy musical biopic, I always forget, biopic of Elton John, starring Taron Egerton primarily. And let me say right now, right off the get-go, really love the movie. Maybe it wasn't like, you know, a lot of people have been hyping it up that it's like so great and it's like one of the best biopics ever. And you know what? I could see that. I mean, I haven't seen too many, but it was really, really entertaining. Taron Egerton acts his dick off. Like, he is such an amazing actor. I really haven't seen him in much besides Kingman, Golden Compass Circle, I forget. Apparently he was in the other Robin Hood movie that tanked. But this movie, his acting was so nuanced and so vulnerable, and he was just so electric, energetic on screen, and I really, really was into that. So I thought he did an amazing performance, and compared to Rami Malek, who won Best Actor for his portrayal of Queen, oh my god, Freddie Mercury, god damn it. And I thought he did a much better job than that, because, I mean, Taron Egerton actually sings in this movie, so kudos to this movie. I think it could have been like one or two songs shorter, and I think some of the enjoyment, you know, I like Elton John, but I don't actually know a lot of his discography, so I'm not like, oh, this song. I'm just like, oh, cool. This sounds catchy, I guess, but you know, I know Rocket Man. And yeah, I thought that it was really a really well done movie, which could have been a little bit shorter, but it's only 2 hours long, so I definitely recommend it. And that was a movie that came out last month, like in May. So yeah, in terms of like last month's movies, I was really bummed out I didn't get to see Rocket Man, especially for Talking Tongue, although there was other stuff going on, I'm pretty sure. What did I do last month? Detective Pikachu, Aladdin, John Wick. Okay, so those are pretty big movies too. And then I didn't see Godzilla. So May was a pretty action-packed month for seeing movies, and at least I saw Rocket Man, so I was really happy about that. But this month was supposed to be Dark Phoenix. Even though I didn't see Apocalypse, I had full intention to go watch. Heard the worst X-Men movie, and then go see Dark Phoenix, and then I was gonna go do Men in Black International, and of course Toy Story 4, which I'm the most bummed about because I still haven't seen it yet. It's one of those things where I would have seen it by now, but I did promise the fiance, that I would see it with her. So I gotta wait till next week, and it's killing me inside because Toy Story is one of my favorite franchises ever. But let's back up here. There's a couple other things that came out this month. Let's see here. I made a quick note. Usually when I do Talking Tongues, I kind of write down, if there's a big news story, I will just jot it down. And somewhere halfway through the month, I always forget. Like something comes out and I just don't write in the document. So I wrote here the Ad Astra trailer, which I think is the Brad Pitt in space trailer. There was a new Wonder Woman poster, which feels like forever ago, but I guess it came out this month. E3, that was a big thing this month. Oh gosh, let me see here. Cyberpunk. If anyone doing or that loves video games, you would know that E3 is the big gaming convention and conference that happens every single year. That kind of kickstarts what's going to happen for the next year or the next 2 years. And of course, if you follow gaming, we are in a crazy period. It's almost time for new consoles. Probably by next year, we're going to get new consoles like a PS5, the Xbox Scarlet, or Nintendo is probably going to still do its own thing because Nintendo always does that. But Cyberpunk 2077 was probably the big hit of the show. And of course, it ends with Keanu Reeves. And I gotta say, Keanu Reeves is having an amazing year. 2019 belongs to Keanu Reeves. No other actor can touch that. I will fight you if you try to take that away from Keanu Reeves because he's worked really hard, and he's had this crazy resurgence lately. So it's been great with John Wick 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Always Be My Maybe. He was just I saw a news story about him being asked to be part of the MCU, the Marvel Universe. So that's awesome. I hope he plays something. I was having a great conversation with a couple friends about who he could play, and I was like, he would make a cool like alternate universe Wolverine, or people want Namor, or what else did they say? Silver Surfer, I think would have been kind of cool. And I don't know, there's so many possibilities that he could have done. So I assume something with martial arts because it's Keanu Reeves. E3, let's see, Final Fantasy VII Remake. And as you can see, I am not editing this episode because I gotta get out of here quick. So this is gonna be a quick episode. Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's a tongue twister. Cannot wait for that. I keep going back and forth being like, Final Fantasy VII, one of my favorite games of all time, but it probably ages pretty poorly and I don't want to play that again. It's not that great. Maybe I hate it. And every time they release a teaser trailer, I'm like, oh my god, I love it again. Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, Halo Infinite, Elden Ring. That's that game with George R.R. Martin helping out. Gears 5, Doom Eternal, Ghostwire Tokyo, Baldur's Gate 3, Animal Crossing New Horizon, Watch Dogs Legion. I didn't memorize that. I literally read it off a website. Those are a couple highlights that this website says. But yeah, we're in a really exciting time. I mean, Borderlands 3, of course, that's coming out this year. Stadia's having their own thing. Google's platform. The Avengers game, which kind of looks kind of cool, but the characters look kind of weird. I'm going to hold it off and hold off judgment, I mean. I think it could be really cool, so hopefully it is. Let's move on to the things that we would have talked about. I mean, Dark Phoenix, I don't even know how much they spent on this, but right away everyone's like, oh man, you guys did Dark Phoenix in X-Men 3 The Last Stand, and that was terrible. So it can't be any worse, can it? And apparently it's very bad. Like, this movie was out June 7th. It's I'm recording this June 26th. It's already leaving some theaters. Apparently 44% of theaters is gutting this movie because it's just not pulling people in. On its opening weekend, it got $32 million. That is bad for a big blockbuster franchise. And I mean, you're talking about one of the longest running franchises ever, which is insane. And this is the climax of all of it. And like when they rebooted it with like James McAvoy and Jennifer Lawrence, like with First Class, it was like, oh my God, they're gonna make X-Men great again, and it was for a little bit. I mean, X-Men First Class was amazing, and then Days of Future Past was pretty good, but like it wasn't as good as we thought it was gonna be. Logan was the freaking shit. It was one of the best comic book movies I've ever seen, and then everything else was kind of like whatever, fart. But this movie, like right now worldwide, it's pulled $234 million, which is not much for this kind of movie, like it's a comic book movie. Comic books are in right now, obviously still, and it did terrible. It ranked number 2 on its opening weekend, behind Secret Life of Pets 2. So ouch. I feel bad. I really do. I hope, whatever, they're gonna put this franchise to sleep, and now that Marvel has the rights, they will make it hopefully into something fantastic, and we can play this like who's gonna play like the new X-Men, who's gonna play the next Wolverine, like we can play all that like kind of casting game, I guess, hypothetical casting, but I will see what they do in 5 years. Maybe a brand new Hugh Jackman actor is going to come out of nowhere and just blow us out of the water here. Speaking of Hugh Jackman, just saw him last night live. The Man, the Music, the Show. That's literally what it's called. And he just sang and tap danced and just killed it. He's an amazing performer on stage. He's 50 years old and he's just killing it. Hugh Jackman's the man. He really is. Just had a fantastic time. He's just singing like Greatest Showman stuff, Les Miserables, and doing covers of different other songs and just like songs that inspired him throughout his life. It was very awesome. Saw that in Toronto. That was great. Men in Black International, that was starring Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth. They haven't had a Men in Black movie since 2012. And that was MIB3, and they kind of put the franchise to sleep, and they're like, okay, let's reboot it with these two hot actors, stars of Thor Ragnarok. And it's grossing $56 million right now, and in its opening weekend it got $30 million, which is just under $20 million under the opening weekends of all the other movies. So it also did terrible. It's not been a good month for some of these franchises, I have to say. And I honestly don't know too much about it. Apparently it's not very creative. I think it gets 20 something on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, I think, let me look this up. I know that's not fun for me to type and look stuff up while I'm on the cast here, but like say Dark Phoenix got 23% and MIB had 22% on Rotten Tomatoes. So pretty bad. And I honestly don't know too much about it. I wanted to see it because I like those actors. I think Chris Hemsworth is one of the up and coming funniest and talented actors around right now. He's very interesting, very good looking man, of course, but I just think his acting ability is fantastic, especially his comedy chops too. Like, he's changed Thor from such a kind of a boring character and over dramatic into like a comedy machine. So I'm very excited for what he does. So it was kind of a bummer that this movie didn't do too well. And like, I liked Men in Black, I really did, when I was a kid, and when I was younger. But yeah, maybe you don't need another Men in Black movie, I guess. Like, it's not really a movie that I was looking for. When they did MIB3, I was like, okay, you can close the book on this. Nobody needs to see another Men in Black. But they did, and that's what you get sometimes for pulling movies out of the dead. So, but moving on, Toy Story 4, they did that. Like, that was a movie that Toy Story 3 was a perfect cap to the trilogy, where they finally, spoilers, say goodbye to Andy and they move on with their toy lives. And I was crying at the theaters. I remember seeing this movie in theaters, and it was one of my favorite movie experiences ever. And I'm just like bawling. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna get burnt alive in this trash compactor. And it was so emotional, and then they finished it, and I was like, that was a perfect movie, start to finish, like perfect way to end this trilogy. And when they announced Toy Story 4, the initial reaction for everyone, including myself, was like, no, you cannot mess this up. Do not fuck up perfection. You cannot pull this off. Like, and then part of me was like, well, they gave us Toy Story 1, 2, and 3. If they want to do a 4, and all the actors read the script and they're like, you know what, this movie should be told, the story should be told, then you gotta believe them, because they made those other 3 movies that you love so much. So I am happy to say, although I haven't seen it yet, I'm sure it's gonna be great. That has 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, take with a grain of salt. And it just crushed the box office. I mean, I think some people said it underperformed compared to what they were thinking it was going to perform at, but it's still the highest opening for Toy Story that's ever, out of the 4 now. 279 million worldwide lifetime gross right now. So opening weekend, 120 million. Apparently, they was projected at 140. But listen, like, these numbers already surpass Dark Phoenix and Men in Black. Like I said, 32 million for Dark Phoenix, a comic book movie, right? And Toy Story, obviously one of the most beloved franchises for Pixar ever, just knocked it out of the park. So I'm very excited to see what they do. I don't have too much context. I was trying to avoid as many trailers as possible. I'm one of those people who will watch 1 trailer, maybe 2, but I don't like to see the 3rd, because now it's giving away too much. And just sitting through, I think, Rocket Man or something, they start playing the Toy Story 4 trailer, and I'm like, no, I haven't seen this one, and I'm not really good at, like, not paying attention to seeing stuff, and maybe I'll watch 2 seconds of this trailer. I ended up watching the whole thing. I really enjoyed it, but I was like, damn it, might take away from my enjoyment, which, come on, it's Toy Story, so probably won't. And yeah, that's kind of what's been going on with me, and what I would have talked about. And I mean, I would have gave more insight about all these movies, but I haven't seen them yet, so that's okay. Let's see here. July movies in 2019. Sorry for my loud keyboard. I always thought it would be a cool idea to get a mechanical keyboard, and I still holding off that it's going to be super cool, but it's so loud. It's just like so obnoxious. Okay, Spider-Man Far From Home, Midsummer, that could be cool. Same director as Hereditary, which I haven't seen yet, but I heard it's freaking scary, so give that a shot. The Lion King, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, oh yeah. So that's probably going to be my movies next month, is Spider-Man Far From Home, Midsummer, and no, maybe not Midsummer, Lion King for sure, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is the Quentin Tarantino one with Leo, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie. It's gonna be great. And Super Mario Maker is coming out like tomorrow, so that will be great too. Yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode of Talkin Tuong. I know it's a short one. I hope you are all well. I hope next month that we can get my life back together. I'm sure I will. I really want to just connect, and I love talking about these movies. I mean, it's almost been 20 minutes of me recording now, and I've literally talked about almost nothing, but I just love talking about movies and pop culture and all that stuff. So again, thank you for listening. Sorry it's not live. I'll come back live next month, or if this is the only way you digest this podcast, I think that's totally valid. I mean, Facebook kind of sucks. I only use it because it's the easiest kind of thing, and it's to reach my audience anyways in PodCavern. So yeah, if you want to support us, click on the Amazon affiliate link at www.podcavern.com. Otherwise, we'll see you later, and I love you. Bye.